Okay, so today is damn, what is today? Um, October 15th of 2024. I just realized that I labeled these wrong. This one too. Yep, this one too. No, I'm not gonna use this one. It's too. It's too. It's too small of a gap. Okay, so again, today is October 15th of 2024, and let's go over the yesterday's price action as well as today's outlook. So yesterday was interesting because I did not expect to for price to be so fluid. But again, it does make sense given the previous day's price action or Friday's price action on the daily here. Again, as I said yesterday, Friday we had an inside candle within this candle here. This candle did not break either the high or the low, so it moved from imbalance to imbalance. And so whenever you get like that, whenever you get price like that, the next day is usually, or within the near future, price usually has a very one-sided day. Uh, yeah, it has it tends to break out. Let's just say that. Jeez, I can't remember any phrases today. So yesterday, right off the morning, as soon as we turned data on, I noticed the price had already had a one-sided move, and on ES it was already at all-time highs, a new all-time highs, and on NQ it had already broken past the previous week high, and was it the previous week high? Yeah, previous week high and the previous monthly high, which was this high right here. Actually, I forgot to label it as such. Okay, so previous month high, previous week high, we had that. Uh, so once we had that move, I had expected price to draw higher, but within the 10 o'clock macro, within the live stream, I didn't really see any entry or anything to actually give it a go. But the funny thing is, as soon as I closed the live stream, um, right here, as soon as I closed the live stream, I noticed something. I noticed a change in the state of delivery. Again, right off the open, price just gravitated higher. And we noticed first this swing high, swing low here, swing high, swing low here. So as soon as I noticed that, I began to start looking for an entry. Yeah, I began to start looking for an entry because I knew this had become sell side as well as this right here. Same thing on ES. We had the same area there. So I did try to get short here, which was just ill-advised, but I just took it off quickly because I just I just did not like it. As soon as I entered, I immediately knew what I did. It was more of an impulsive trade, so I just got out of it. But then we started seeing this. I think I cut the trade right here. I mean, I cut the stream right here, and a few seconds later, As soon as I noticed this new time cycle start, I saw this big wick here on the 15-second, or actually on the 1 minute, and then I switched over to 15-second. As soon as I switched over to the 50-second, I noticed that the new time cycle has started. And as soon as I noticed that, what did I see? I noticed that we swept buy side here, we created a breaker here, drew higher, and then we displaced lower. Not necessarily displacement, but all three phases of this breaker model were very well drawn. And then as soon as I saw price draw a new low here, I didn't necessarily enter it here. What I did was I actually waited for the bodies of the candle to close below this. So as soon as I noticed this, I entered short here, and my stop was above this breaker here. So pretty good risk reward here, right? As soon as I entered that, I entered with two contracts. Again, I was not looking to trade. I really wasn't. But as soon as I noticed this model here, I entered short here and I targeted these lows here. Very simple. I probably should have added more as soon as I saw this model here, this second stage of distribution here, to maybe target some new lows down here. But again, I wasn't looking to trade that day because I knew that price was not going to be as fluid, and obviously it was. Uh, but but again, I just chose this one. I chose to get short here because it was just a good model. So after it swept these lows here, who knows what it would have done? It could have easily reversed and then just seek new highs, but obviously it just kept on drawing lower. So I got short here, covered down here, so one trade for the day. I come back in the afternoon. Come back in the afternoon, and like always, I love these types of models here. But obviously, I didn't trade this one with actual cash. I actually took a paper trade on this one in the afternoon. Notice buy side, sell side get swept here. Here, there's no buy side, sell side getting swept except for this 5 minute here. It's actually easier to see on the 5 minute. But anyways, let's draw this before I even go to the 5 minute. All right, so let's do it on the 5 minute. Again, I'm still bullish at this point because we had displacement overnight, and then we had a pullback into 50% of this range. And actually was present during this time, but again, I didn't take an actual trade because I knew that Monday was low probability, and in hindsight, higher probability. This setup is high probability, but given the fact that there's no data news, I just decided not to take it with an actual trade. But instead, I just paper traded the rest of the afternoon. So we had buy side swept here, sell side swept here. So both sides of the market are taken out. Same thing here, buy side, sell side. This model is the same one, and I've seen it multiple times. I'm not even going to go back to it. I've seen it multiple times where you get a huge up move, and you get a lot of people buying long here. Then as soon as the time cycle ends at 10 o'clock, you get that flush down to take all of these buyers out of the market. And then as soon as that happens, you just wait. All you got to do is just wait until you see some form of SMT, and then you have it here between this low and this low here, this low and this low here. That's first stage. Second stage is this low and this low here, followed by this low and this low here. So why do I like both of them? Because again, you have two stages of SMT. Then you wait until the macros start. This one, I think this one was 12. Yeah, it was 12 o'clock macro, but this 1400 macro was way better. Um, so you got to draw lower. You get a sweep of these lows. This one does not sweep the lows, so obviously this one's going to head to all-time highs, and it did here. Uh, and right after it did that, I knew that price was going to continue to hold this area because you have a unicorn set up here. Into this imbalance paired with a 15-minute order block. So you get a good setup here. And then you target this new high here and whatever other standard deviations there are between this high and this low here. Some people like using this low, but I I like going for the low hanging fruit. Where is it? Don't tell me I erased it. Damn, I think I erased it. I'll do it later. So you get that, cover up here, and then cover the rest up here if you want to. But I decided to go with this one. Why this one? Well, because we had a third stage of SMT between this low and this low and this low and this low here. This low did not break this low, so you get in here and you target buy side here. But yeah, that was pretty much it for the day. Great day. Fluid price action. I didn't. It's something I didn't expect, but it does make sense given the environment of this week. This week we do have, I think, the start of the fourth quarter of earnings season. It starts with the financial sector and I think some of the healthcare sector. Not necessarily. Yeah, I think it was Johnson and Johnson and a couple other ones. Um, yeah, a couple other ones. I forget which one it was. But anyways, let's go ahead and go with the outlook for today. So today's outlook, I'm looking for continuation to the upside. Whenever you have price close at all-time highs, the only direction you should be taking is a draw towards the highs. That doesn't mean I can't catch a short because what I am looking for to have happened overnight during Asia is to maybe have to maybe watch price draw lower into 50% of this range. Same thing here, take out this sell side area and then draw higher. I think what I did see during Asia though was it did take these lows here. So after it took these lows here, I would have expected price to maybe seek these highs here. So today's today's plan is based off of what happened yesterday. If price already swept these highs here, then I will expect price to come back and sweep these lows, or at least visit 50% of whatever range between this low and whatever high was drawn overnight. Same thing here. If price swept this low here and then drew higher, then what I'll do is I'll look for a drawback into 50% or maybe sweep sell side again. Um, but if price swept sell side down here in these areas, then I'll expect to draw higher today into maybe 50% of the range or a new high on above previous day high. I do have these quadrants here on the daily imbalance as well as this weekly imbalance that I've been following for a long time now. This is a weekly imbalance. This is the daily imbalance, both in the same vicinity. Eventually, though, I do expect price to gravitate towards this new week opening gap. This is the high of this daily fair value gap that I have from from a while ago, actually. So again, based off of what happened overnight, I'll get my plan. So let's go ahead and connect the data here and see where we stand right now. Actually, let's move to the 15-minute. Actually, the daily. Let's start at the daily. I won't be surprised if we are at all-time highs again. Because again, we are in second stage distribution here, and that's usually the one with the strongest price action. All right, so we haven't swept buy side yet. Good. On either. That's very good. So I think today's direction on price action will be imbalance to liquidity. Because again, price is always doing one of four things. It's moving from liquidity to liquidity, from liquidity to imbalance, from liquidity to imbalance, or from imbalance to imbalance, meaning it doesn't break the highs or lows, which is what it's doing right now. It's drawing from imbalance to imbalance here. Same thing here, imbalance to imbalance. So that's what I'm expecting today. Again, I wanted to see sell side get swept. It still hasn't, but it did take out 15-minute sell side down here. Um, so that's good. It hasn't still taken anything out. Let's go over the 4-hour. So we just took out buy side here on the lower time frames, but I actually rather like this one better. And we haven't taken out buy side here yet either. Took out, we haven't taken previous day high yet either. Let's see here, what else? Okay. There is no SMT at the lows, is there actually? Nope. So now this becomes relative equal lows here. Let's just leave it at that. So again, we still haven't taken out sell side here. But like I mentioned earlier, this to me is not necessarily sell side because we also have another lower time frame sell side down here. So I would like to see buy side get taken and then sell side, because if that's what happens, then I will be looking to get long down here somewhere, um, because right now it's kind of too late to get in there right now on the market. Let's take a look at the 1-hour. Okay. Technically, we already took out buy side here, but we haven't yet on ES. All right. We already closed above this gap here. This is an inverse. This too is an inverse here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. Actually, not that. This one. Because technically it's still a gap. Okay, so this is my plan. We already swept buy side here on NQ. I mean, technically this high is the same as this high here, but this is all-time high. This right here is this high here of Asia. So we already swept Asia high. We swept London on both ES and NQ, but not Asia on ES. So that would be SMT at these highs here. Now, granted, I don't want to get long in these areas. I do not want to get long anywhere in this area. What I want to see is I want to see maybe we get SMT between this high and this high, and uh, this high and this high. Okay, if we get that and price draws lower, then the only place I'm willing to get long is in these areas here. This is current SMT between this low and this low here. So we do have SMT at the lows. And since I'm bullish, I am not looking to get. I'm not looking to get long or short right now, because we. Oh wait, are these the hourlies? Yep, these are the hourlies. Okay, so again, we do have SMT at the lows. We are in bullish order flow. So there's no reason for me to even start looking for a short in these areas. During at 10 o'clock, if we fail to break these highs here, what I will look for is I'll look for and again, this is at 10 o'clock for the 10 o'clock macro. If we fail to get above these areas and we displace lower, then I may look to maybe get in on the second stage of distribution to the downside. But again, that's only if right at the open we fail to get above these areas, and then during the 10 o'clock macro we get that setup. Um, because I'm paying attention to this imbalance here. This imbalance will tell me which way the market is going to try to go. It wouldn't surprise me if we sweep these highs. Uh, but if we're still bullish, and if this is the low of the day, then we should just continue to draw higher. If we continue to draw higher, then I don't expect to get into a trade until maybe 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock or the 11 o'clock macro. I do expect price to be fluid today because again, the start of the fourth quarter uh, of earnings is this week, and we just started. Actually, this is the second week, so we do have the second week of financials trading. I would love for price to come all the way down here, but I don't think that's happening until the second half of the earnings season that starts, which is usually the Qs. The Qs are made up by Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, AMD, Nvidia, and all of the tech sector companies. So uh, right now I'll just let price go. There's no reason to get in these areas. And if on the hourly we just sweep through these highs and we close above these highs, then there's no reason to even be a participant in the market. Um, so right now it's all about just waiting and watching to see how price closes on the hourly or even the 4 hour. As soon as the 4 hour opens, which is usually 10 o'clock macro, that's when I might get a indication as to where price is going. Um, but the other another another sign of what price may be doing will be uh, give me a second. Yeah, as to what price is doing will be um, the 0930 open, which is here in about 5 minutes. That's usually when you get the Judas swing. This could be the Judas swing here, where price looks like it's going up and then fails to get above. Again, this high here will tell me a lot, especially if it price just sweeps and we get an immediate displacement lower. Then I'll know we're at least trying to rebalance this imbalance, because again, we are right now at liquidity, and like I always say, liquidity does one of four things. It runs from liquidity to imbalance, from imbalance to liquidity back again to the highs, and right now that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that price wants to come back down to liquidity and then head. I'm seeing that price maybe wants to come down to imbalance and then just seek liquidity again at the highs. And that's the kind of move I'm looking for today. I'm looking for imbalance to liquidity. Right now, if price comes down, then we're going from liquidity to imbalance. Um, that's the 4 hour. There are no displacement candles in this leg up, so I don't see this leg acting as any type of support. Uh, I have nothing but immediate rebalances here. Well, this one isn't an immediate rebalance. There is an order block here, so I would expect this high to this order block to fail. Let's take a look at the 15-minute. This right here is a rejection block. So I would like to see how price reacts here. If anything, I only wanted to touch consequent encroachment, or the median line right here. 1.25 points. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to take a chance here. I'm going to risk 1.25 points. Yep, I'm gonna risk 1.25 points. This will be my hard stop to make 12 points. These are relative equal lows. All right, I'll take that. Let's get it ready. $14.25. Rejection block, sell model, buy side was taken, sell side was taken, buy side was taken here. Actually, buy side was already taken, so I would expect price to maybe come down and sweep these lows again. If I don't get triggered in here, then I will be looking for price to violate this breaker block here. And if price violates this breaker block closing down here, then I'll look for a continuation of or second stage distribution here. So either one of these will tell me something. Okay, so I do have an order at 14.25 with a buy stop at 15.50 because we took a buy side already here on the lower time frames. Same thing here. Took out plenty of buy side. So we'll see. One more minute. Oh man, it's just going on without me. Let's take a look at the 5 minute. Let's take a look at the 1 minute. Ah, this is a beautiful setup here. Yeah. So I think ES does sweep this high here, and then we get to draw lower. I don't think NQ does. So yeah, let's see here in about 5 seconds. There we go. Come on. Oh, don't tell me. Looks like I'm not getting it. No. All right, so this is that breaker I pointed out to. Again, I do want to see this breaker just get sliced through. Oh man, I probably should have put my buy here. I mean my sell order here at 13.75. I was being let's see. We just drew into this area here. All right. Nope. Maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. If I don't get triggered in, then I'll look at this area here to see where we want to go afterwards. Looks like I am going to get triggered. I want to see NQ fail to get above this breaker here. Come on, just a little more. Just a little more. All right. You know what? All right. So I just took it. It's actually up here. My entry is, oh wow, 12.25. So right here. I want to see price slice through this area here. My stop is still going to be 15.50. About 3 points risk reward, but we'll see what it wants to do. Let me set my stop now. 15.50. It'll probably still come back up to sweep this high, but as long as it stays below this area or it rejects this area, then I'm okay. If I get stopped, then that's my own fault because for not waiting enough. And it will be my own fault. We are rejecting constant encroachment, but NQ continues to draw higher. There's no SMT at the lows. Okay, here's where I want to see it immediately reject. This is constant encroachment of the rejection block. So we are rejecting it. We now have SMT between ES and NQ, where NQ swept the high, ES did not. What does the 5 minute look like? This is starting to get very. Oh, and I forgot to say, YM is drawing lower. YM is drawing towards previous day low. That's the objective right now. I do see it sweeping the low, so that's why I am comfortable with this trade. It is taking a lot longer than I had expected, though. But the only thing I'm looking for, well, the next phase of this trade, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a draw towards this breaker here. And as long as price does that without sweeping, without drawing back into the highs, then I'm comfortable. Beautiful. So far, so good. All right. So right now we just drew into that breaker, and I want to see an immediate I just want to see it get sliced through. We're about to close on the 5 minute here. My stop is still 14.25. I want to see it close below this gap here. Three drive pattern. All right, I'm not liking that reaction. I'm watching to see how this candle reacts to this candle here, the up close candle. Because right now, what it did is it rejected the median, well, consequent encroachment of the body, and as soon as it rejected that, it immediately just started drawing lower again. Got 2 more minutes before the candle closes. And YM is still drawing lower. I think YM is going to sweep previous day low. So as soon as it does that, wherever ES is at, I'll go ahead and close the trade. Yep. Couple more seconds. It is respecting consequent encroachment here. I don't like that though. I think we are going to sweep one more time. But it all has to do with how this candle closes. Yep, I want to see it close below this area here. All right, perfect. All right, so it did rebalance this whole little imbalance here. So now I want to see how the next one reacts. Ideally, I would like to see it immediately just draw lower. My stop now is this high because this right here, this candle here, as you can see, it reacted very bearish after it reached consequent encroachment. So I don't want price to come back up here. If it does, then we're probably going to run this high and then draw lower. So I'll just take it off because we're not even at the 10 o'clock macro yet. So what I'll do is I'll just take it off and then reload up here. But it all has to do with how this candle closes. And yeah, I think we are setting up. If we run these lows here, we are setting up for a pretty good trade on the second stage of distribution. And this is the trade, by the way. All right, so we just ran that low, but we're still up here. So now we're both at this breaker. I want to see price just immediately draw lower. And I don't like that. Again, this is my stop up here. If we close above this candle, We could still run the high, but I'm talking about if we close above it, then I'll take the trade off and reload up here. But at this point, ideally, I don't want to see price drop back up there. Let's take a look at the 1 minute. Yep, I think we're definitely gonna run those highs. So let's see how this one reacts. Couple more seconds. Okay, so it makes sense. We ran this high, a little buy side, but I think we still have to run this high here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a second one here and still leave my stop up here. But it all has to do with how this candle closes, and it just closed. We left the gap here. I would like to see this gap remain open. And now we run the lows. I think maybe that's what's happening. Let's get my sell orders ready. 2.25. What is it? Oh, 2. Let's put it at 50. Okay. Well, we're still holding above this breaker. I want to see this breaker get broken. I don't see a reason as to why it would not. Yeah, I don't see a reason as to why it draws higher from here. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add another one up here because we are in the 10 o'clock macro, and the risk reward is definitely worth it. So I'm gonna turtle soup this entry. YM is drawing, still drawing towards the highs. I mean, towards the lows. There's no setup. Long. I mean, there is SMT at the lows, but I don't trust that. I want to see it reject this still. Right there. Okay, I want to see what happens after this high gets swept here. We're drawing towards the highs. Okay. I don't like that reaction. Couple more minutes. Let's take a look at the 15. Yeah, this is the SMT I'm talking about here, where price swept this high here. Actually, no, there is no SMT. Held at 50% here. 3 more minutes. And YM is drawing lower still. If this 5 minute closes well within this area here, then my stop will be 1350, because I don't want to be in this trade anymore. Not necessarily because I don't think the trade is going to work out. It's just not as fluid as I would have expected it to be, especially knowing that there's a breaker here. If the draw is the lower, it is down here, then I would not expect this area to hold as well as it is right now, especially with this, with how price is acting here on NQ. NYM is drawing lower still. Okay. There you go. All right, we're finally getting some fluidity here. We get new SMT down here. Beautiful. I think I already have a sell order. Yep, right there. 92.50. Awesome, outstanding. Again, I want price to close down here. I don't want price to close here. And then I want to get a retracement into this area and then maybe the draw lower. Nope. I don't want price to get back above this area anymore, or this area. And YM is still drawing lower. Come on. The only thing I don't like is that we do have SMT on the 15-minute lows. That's why I'm looking for price to just draw lower. We do have relative equal lows. Nope, I don't like that. I need it to stay below this area here. My stop now is if we close above this area, above this inverse here, then I'll take my stop. It could still pierce it, but it all has to do with how the candle closes. I just need NQ to get with the program here. Let's see. YM is still drawing towards the lows. Hasn't hit the low yet. It's respecting an order block. minute. Okay, so it's in the middle. Yeah, I'm not liking that. We still have relative equal lows here. I'm gonna take it off. All right, I just took it off. I just don't like how this 5 minute is gonna close. So what I will do is I'll reload up here and risk my initial profit. All right, I just took it off. Yeah, I'm just really not liking that. Okay, so now what I want to see is I want to see some sort of SMT up here. But who knows? Maybe we might still draw towards the lows. Well, just closed. Wow, ain't that a bitch? There's a volume imbalance here. All right, so small green day so far, but just nothing, just not the price action I'm looking for. It's too stale. And right now at this point, I don't want to be in price here. If I'm pretty sure that if I would have gotten short here, I'd be more comfortable holding. But I'm actually short right here, which could not necessarily hurt me, but which could cause me to cover early, which it just did. I would actually rather be at these highs. I would rather be short up here, and then use this as my actual stop. Yep. Yeah, definitely took that early. Let's take a look at the 1 minute again. On NQ, maybe there's something there. Oh yeah, damn. This is what happens to me for not adding a second, for not adding consequent encroachment. Yep, now it's going to draw lower. All right. All right, I just took a short on NQ because this right here was the entry. Jeez, can't believe I just did that. Okay, I added another one. This is my stop right here. So now I want to see big candles get drawn. First target is here. The one thing I don't like though is that area. And this is all generated liquidity, by the way, meaning that up until this part, there was no liquidity swept. There we go. Now that it hit this area, I want to see it immediately draw through it. I can't believe I messed this one up, but it's fine. I'm in here now. 4. Let's take it off. Okay. I want to see what this does. If it comes back into it, depending on how far it rebalances, will either keep me in the trade or not. All right, covered one. Limit order. I don't want to see price come back up here. I want price to leave this one opened. There we go. Yeah, this is completely my fault. I totally messed this one up. If it closes this gap and the body closes above this area, then I'll take my stop on the last contract. This one could still what's the word? Could still rebalance. There we go. That's a beauty. So now that they're both below the breaker, it doesn't matter if it comes back up here and pierces it. I don't want to see price just close above here. I just want to see price just continue to move below here. This was a quick entry if anybody was looking to get in there. That's where I would get in if I hadn't jumped in here. I'm going to cut it at 50 points. I don't want to hold it anymore because these are two great trades that I just took, except for this one. This one's just shitty. So I'm going to take it off at 50 points. Never mind. I think I'm good. All right. I want to see it just immediately break through. A little more. All right. So I just took it off there. Now, whether it comes down here, I'm pretty sure it does, but I don't want to hold through this pullback. So overall, pretty great trade here. Just shitty trade here. I could have probably already covered. Yes, exactly, because my sell order was at 2.50. As soon as I noticed this, I had confidence in getting short here. So overall, pretty, I don't know, just shitty execution here. Uh, I got I had some fear with this pullback, but my only problem was that um, I didn't zoom in. Had I zoomed in, I probably would have added more here. Um, but my dumbass didn't zoom in, so that kind of messed everything up. Um, YM has still not swept that low. Yesterday's low, I mean. But overall, I'm very happy with this trade. Well, with NQ. Why did I take NQ? Because after we swept this high here, we're about to sweep that low, and I don't care anymore because I already took that. A second. And this is the trade. Covered one here and covered the last one here. We just swept this low. So if the reversal comes, it'll be here. But I don't want to be in this market anymore because we literally just swept. So we have first stage SMT, second stage SMT, and we're already outside the macro. So even if it reverses here, I'm not willing to take a long in this area here. Very good trade. As soon as the bag uh, was drawn and price did not come back into it, I was confident in this trade. Um, price ran this high here, so buy side swept, sell side was swept here, then buy side here. Then we had to draw lower, bag here. Like I said, in the trade, oh, we have SMT between this low and this low now. So let's see. Let's take a paper trade on ES. Let's add one more because if this is the SMT here, then this low should be protected. So let's put stops at 2.50. Actually, I'm going to put it at 25. So now you have two stages of SMT. First stage SMT, first stage SMT, first stage SMT, and the fact that this broke the low, this is second stage SMT. So you have this right here. But again, we are outside of the macro, so I don't really care if I don't really care to trade anymore. So two great trades. One great execution as far as exits and one shitty execution as far as exits. Yeah, this is definitely SMT. Again, my bias was bullish. Um, my bias was bullish, but we had already swept buy side. That's why I was short in this area up here. Um, and that's why I got short up here as soon as I noticed this breakaway gap. Um, covered into this sweep down here and before price swept this low. So ultimately, I do think price comes down to this area here, um, because this area is 50% of this range here. Um, but I don't think, yeah, I think we do sweep it. It all depends on how price draws here, though, because this, again, this is 50% of the range. We do have a new week opening gap, and price does act as a magnet to the new week opening gap. So at this point, I'm happy just being out of the market. 50 points on the last contract, 25 points on the first contract. This one still pisses me off because I just did not. I had my eyes on the 5 minute right here. This is where I had my eyes on, and I did not want to see price come back up to this area uh, after it started to draw below this breaker here. Um, but we're outside of the macro already, so I'm not really looking to trade anymore. But yeah, I think this might be the reversal. Let's take a look at the 1 minute. So yeah, if I had zoomed into the 1 minute, um, yeah, if I had zoomed into this 1 minute, oh man, I probably would have added instead of just taking it off. Oh, I feel so stupid. But the fact that, again, the fact that I realized I noticed this inversion here after we swept buy side, um, that's why I like this trade better than this one. But again, I should have definitely added. So yeah, I'm gonna call it a day there. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a day. But usually, what I do after the macro's over is I shut off my data. Then I come back for the 11 o'clock macro to see what it's done then. Um, but if this becomes the low and it's not the yesterday's 9:30 low, if this becomes the low, then what I want to see is I want to see a draw higher. Uh, I want to see this area get violated or a PD array on the 15 minute at least. Um, so if this gap remains open and then price reverses here, I want this gap to get closed so I can use that as an entry point later on. But I think I'm gonna get stopped here. Um, but yeah, I do want to see price come down the sell side down here. This right here is a 4 hour gap. This right here is a 4 hour gap. This is the weekly. This right here is consequent encroachment of the daily gap. But again, this to me is sell side. So if price sweeps this low, then I do expect price to continue drawing higher after this because once this happens, you will have had sell side swept on the hourly. Where's sell side? Right here. Sell side swept on the hourly, and then you would look for a reversal higher on the 5 minute. So yeah, because again, this is 50% of the range. But yeah, that's pretty much it, and I will see you tomorrow.